ruined my own gender reveal party because my child is a boy. Story. I'm pregnant with a baby boy due in November. My fiance and I didn't care much about the sex of our child, so we didn't make too much noise about it once we found out. The only people we'd informed were our parents, their partners, and our siblings. Prior to this, my father's girlfriend of 3 years had been asking me about my plans for a gender reveal party. I've always been clear about not wanting one. When I announced my son's gender to them, she expressed disappointment that I hadn't changed my mind about a party. I don't like gender reveals, never have, never will. I prefer baby showers, which I think feel more about the actual child. I never tried to hide that opinion either. Days later, my father's girlfriend invited me over for tea at their apartment. My dad was out of town. When I got there, about a dozen people popped out of hiding to surprise me. There were pink and blue decorations everywhere, which made what was going on pretty clear. As I stood there in shock, my father's girlfriend excitedly told me they were throwing me a surprise gender reveal party. Since I'd already told her, she had taken it upon herself to order a cake with colorful frosting, decorate the apartment, and invite a bunch of people over. The guests included her mother, whom I don't get along with, some of her friends, my mother-in-law, not my mom, and 4 of my friends. As I later found out, my mother-in-law and friends had been told I'd changed my mind about gender reveals. I had not. Still in the doorway, I looked over at everyone and said, "It's a boy. You guys can go home now." I left without looking back. Hours later, my father called me furious that I'd ruined the party. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money, and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. Apparently, she hadn't stopped crying since I left. It's been almost a week, and they're both still upset. Even after I explained I never wanted that party in the first place, they're insisting I could have sucked it up for an hour, or at least cut the cake. Am I the a-hole? Response 1, NTA. This smacks of her trying to prove that she cares about you more than your mom, especially seeing as how either your mom wasn't invited or she turned down the invitation to respect your wishes. She doesn't seem to get that the way to prove she cares about you at all is to actually listen to what you want and don't want. Reply 1. I asked my mom. She confirmed she wasn't invited. According to my father's girlfriend, she didn't have her number. That's probably true, but I have no idea how she could have gotten my mother-in-law's. Reply 2. She expects you to believe that your father wouldn't have had her number or been able to get a hold of your mom somehow. Even if they're not in contact at all, he could still have pointed her in the right direction to get it. So she doesn't just stomp all over your boundaries, she's insulting your intelligence. Lovely. Reply 3. I think the real reason is that she knew my mom wouldn't back her up. Had my mother been invited, she would have told me everything. She knows I wouldn't want a gender reveal. Reply 4. Mother-in-law would definitely have mom's contact details even if father didn't, so it's definitely BS. Reply 5. It's a boy, you guys can go home now. I'm a fan. This is how it's done. This is savage, and they deserved it. Response 2. NTA. Dad's girlfriend sounds like someone who enjoys bulldozing boundaries. Wait until she expects to be in the delivery room with you. Reply 1. Our hospital will only allow me and my fiancé in. Thankfully, no one has asked us to be there anyway. Reply 2. Just adding. Don't even call them until you're ready for visitors. Hospitals may have policies, but people get around them all the time. In some families, people camp out in the waiting room while the mom is having the baby so they can pounce on her the second they're allowed back. Reply 3. My in-laws did that. They didn't show up to an event of my daughter's the night before because they were sick. I went in for a scheduled induction the next morning. After I gave birth, I found out they were all camped out in the waiting room waiting to see the baby. I told the whole room they couldn't see him because they were all sick the night before. Instead of my husband being allowed to wheel my son out for them to pass him around, they only allowed my in-laws to see him from behind the glass window. It was hilarious. I got my petty revenge on them for dissing my daughter, and they were so mad they punished me by not coming to see the baby for 2 months. Reply 4. My friend's family is like this, and it boggles my mind. The entire family races to the hospital as soon as the couple's does, which can be a few hours away for some of them, to sit there for hours on end and then barge into the room the second the baby is born. It's ridiculous. With the last one, which was this particular couple's first baby, The family complained about how long the labor was and how they hadn't brought clothes. So now everyone needed to go to Walmart to get toothbrushes and clothes and then a hotel room. How about just go the F home? Why are you even there? Given how this couple has distanced themselves from everyone, including their parents, I suspect no one will know when the next one is born until they're home and ready to accept visitors. Reply 5. Don't call your dad until you're ready to receive visitors. At home, this lady will think she's becoming a grandmother, she's not your stepmom, or even married to your dad. And she did this. She's cray-cray, and you need to treat her as such. Response 3. You're not the a-hole. You made yourself very clear in how you felt about gender reveal parties. You, dad's girlfriend, completely and deliberately disregarded that and disrespected you. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money, and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. So sorry the party she planned for herself was ruined. Maybe she should have gone a step further and not even invited you, since this party was all about what she wanted. Reply 1. I'm stuck on that line as well. OP needs to show respect and gratitude. How about the girlfriend show respect for OP's boundaries and desires, as well as gratitude for being allowed into the inner circle of immediate family who get to be the first to know the gender? Reply 2. It really does feel like she planned it for her. Why did she invite her friends? OP, do you know her friends? That would be weird to me. Response 4. Dear Dad, that's on her. I didn't want that party. I told everyone I don't want GR party. She invited her mother, but not mine. Tell her to get her crap together and start respecting my boundaries. Reply 1. Exactly. Also, Dad, the behavior you're defending includes lying to people, manipulating a pregnant woman into a stressful situation she knows is unwanted, and playing the victim. If that's your idea of love and effort, then congratulations on finding someone you're compatible with, but it's not mine. Then put the two of them on a strict information and access diet. Reply 2. Right. Her feelings are hurt. What about my feelings that I was repeatedly and explicitly clear about? Response 5. NTA. It wasn't your gender reveal party. It was her boyfriend's daughter's baby's gender reveal party. Nothing about that party was for or about you, so why should you feel gratitude for it? Response 6. NTA. That was incredibly rude. She straight up lied and your dad is salty? He should be mad at her for disrespecting your wishes. She wanted that party for herself, not you. Response 7. And they lied to your family/friends saying you changed your mind. That reeks of psycho and a permanent boundary crosser to me. Point out that lying about you is unacceptable, and either he changes his attitude or you'll have to go low contact until he breaks up with Miss Psychopath. Reply 1. And not just that, but the very selective way she brought in family and friends. If she was trying to invite all the important people in OP's life, where was OP's mom? Where were OP's siblings? She intentionally left a bunch of important people out, but then invited her own mom and her own friends, who OP presumably doesn't know well and doesn't care about, probably because siblings and mom would have known something was fishy with the whole thing and put a stop to it. She wants to live through OP. I would bet anything she doesn't have her own kids, and she's trying to experience her dream pregnancy by hijacking OP's pregnancy. Response 8. Amazing. You handled that beautifully. Not the a-hole. You didn't ruin your gender reveal party. When people give gifts, parties included, the recipient is under no obligation to be grateful and gracious, if it is something they have explicitly said they don't want. Your father's girlfriend had a baby genitalia-themed party, with your baby's genitalia as the centerpiece. Nobody you cared about had been invited. It was all about her. And you told them about your baby's genitalia, which was the whole point of that party, no? Response 9. I think it's your father who owes you an apology too. He should have respected your wishes and not sided with his wife. Will suck to be them if they don't start to respect you going forward, since you're the one who will have the baby. Response 10. There was cake. You could have deliberately misunderstood and said, "Thank you for the baby shower for my baby boy," and then stayed for cake. Then you could have also, in between bites of cake, acted all confused to the guests and said, "I'm so glad she respected my wishes on not having a gender reveal party and threw me a shower like I preferred," and then went and got another slice of cake. I'm shaking my head. Missed opportunity to have your cake and eat it too. Reply 1. Wouldn't have worked. The moment they all yelled, "Surprise," she said it was a gender reveal. The decorations also made it obvious. My fiance did get me cake after all this, so I didn't really miss out on that. Reply 2. My fiance did get me cake after all this, so I didn't really miss out on that. Well, as long as it worked out in the end, it sounds like your dad's SO is trying real hard to be the main character in your story. Reply 3, I'm guessing something like that. I'm just going to presume she doesn't have kids of her own. I wouldn't be surprised if on some level she'd like to live vicariously through OP. She would want a gender reveal party if she were pregnant, so she's trying to make OP have one so she can experience her perfect gender reveal fantasy. Reply 4, there has to be a balance between free cake and dealing with pushy jerks. You can always get a Twinkie wherever you want. But giving in to jerks trying to bulldoze you will cost a lot more than the cake down the line. I am imagining you dropping the "It's a boy, go home" line with dead eyes and a Ben Stein voice. Reply 5. Shaking my head, missed opportunity to have your cake and eat it too. You are my favorite person on the internet today. Response 11. NTA. You set a boundary and removed yourself the second you saw it was smashed. If you went in, it would get been used as, "See, it wasn't that bad," or "Why are you complaining you went to the party?" in the future whenever you tried to use that as an example of a crossed boundary. Reply 1, if you went in, it would have been used as, "See, it wasn't that bad," or "Why are you complaining you went to the party?" I've had this happen, and it was absolutely used against me. People who push boundaries or stampede over them are at best main characters and at worst manipulative and / or narcissistic. For me, it was a surprise birthday party. I don't need or want a big deal made. I'm also not coming for those that do. Absolutely do what makes you happy. It's just not my thing. The friend that pushed it with the others involved 100% knew that I did not want one. She constantly pushed boundaries, was definitely a manipulator, and would never take responsibility for her mistakes. Guess who's no longer in the friend group? OP, you are not the a-hole and deserve apologies from your dad and his girlfriend at a minimum. Edit from not for. Response 12. NTA, of course, but your father and his obnoxious girlfriend are. She didn't want your mom there, trying to make it seem like she and your mother-in-law are the grandmothers and trying to erase your mom from the picture. Don't apologize for anything. You did nothing wrong. Reply 1. Oh, this is a good point. Another reason for excluding OP's mom. Vertical bar. Trying to make it seem like she and your mother-in-law are the grandmothers and trying to erase your mom from the picture. Response 13. NTA. This was all about her, not you. She knew you don't like gender reveal parties, and she insisted on throwing you one anyways. She also lied to your friends and mother-in-law. Maybe she didn't invite your own mom because your mom would have known better. Reply 1. Had my mom been invited, not only would she have known better, but she also would have told me about the party in advance. Response 14. Asking you to just put up with it a little is basically another way of saying, you could have done it her way, despite her doing something you explicitly told her you don't like. Your dad and his girlfriend might see it as meeting them in the middle, but it really isn't. A compromise would have been to just have a party/BBQ whatever and agree to bring out a baby gender-related cake midway through. The way they did it was to hold you hostage at an event you don't want, with the hope that you'd be pressured into playing ball. Your response was perfect, and you're not the a-hole. Reply 1. Also, it is fine to not compromise on this. If the person who is pregnant with the child doesn't want to make a big deal about their kid's sex, there is no reason to make a big deal about it. Response 15. Dad, what part of I don't want a gender reveal party? Did your girlfriend not understand? I made it very clear that I did not want a gender reveal party. She chose to have one anyway and lied to people that I changed my mind about it. So, no, she didn't respect me and got what she deserved in return. She owes me an apology. And until she admits she should not have done what she did and apologizes, there is nothing more to say about this. Response 16, NTA. If anyone here should suck it up, it's them. You're the mother of the child. Like, what the hell, laugh out loud. The final decision is yours only. Besides, you weren't even rude. Response 17. You are definitely in the right. Gender reveal parties are the dumbest thing ever. She had no right to do that. Response 18. As I later found out, my mother-in-law and friends had been told I'd changed my mind about gender reveals. If you changed your mind, why did it need to be a surprise? Your dad's girlfriend lied to you, your friends and mother-in-law. She's the for that, for wasting everyone's time, and for being upset she didn't get her way. Your dad is also the for enabling this bratty behavior, not the a-hole. Response 19. NTA, your family should have respected your boundaries and wishes regarding your own baby and pregnancy. Response 20. This idea that you should be respectful and grateful for someone doing for you something you didn't want, didn't ask for, and specifically don't like is ridiculous. Not the a-hole.